Excuse me. Good. I think it's afternoon from the Salt Lake City Public Art Program. My name is Renato Almeida Gonzalez. I'm the Public Art Program Manager for the Salt Lake City Arts Council, and today I'm joined by my colleague Amy. And we both will be going through the request for qualifications for Pioneer Park. This is today is Monday, August 26th, and it's 12 p.m. Salt Lake City time. Just so you know, these slides will be uploaded to the project's website on the call for artists after we're done. And everything, this conversation will also be recorded and posted via YouTube. Just a couple of housekeeping items. I ask you to please use the Q&A chat function on Zoom. If you have any questions, you can type them, we can address them. Or also, I'll be posting our contact information afterwards if you want to send us a question that way. Welcome and thank you. The Pioneer Park request for qualifications is open to all artists and artist-led teams that are located within the United States, regardless of race, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, age, marital status, political opinion or affiliation, or mental or physical disability. We welcome artist-led team applications for this call for artists, but each team must be led by a person who has a history of being an artist. You will not be able to substitute team members after submission unless you reach out to us and we are able to give you an approval for doing so. And if you're applying as a team, I go over this in a little bit later, but please keep in mind that you won't be able to apply as an individual artist. So one team, one person, one application. Pioneer Park. If you are not familiar with Salt Lake City, Pioneer Park is quite an important site here in our city. It is our oldest and one of our most used green spaces in all of Salt Lake City. It was established in 1847 and it holds significance as a place with rich cultural heritage and a gathering place for local and visitors alike since its founding. If you are selected for this request for qualifications and commission an artwork, your artwork and concepts will be integrated into the overall park improvements being made in the site in collaboration and in consultation with the project's landscape architects, key community stakeholders and groups, and other city representatives. This commission is being implemented in coordination with our colleagues in the Public Lands Department and the Design Workshop, which is the contracted landscape architecture consultant for the site. Like I stated before, Pioneer Park is a site with tremendous rich history. The park itself encompasses green lawns, mature trees, meandering pathways that provide for an inviting environment for relaxation, recreation, and community engagement. One of Pioneer Park's most notable features is its role as a cultural hub here in Salt Lake City for not just the city, but the greater Salt Lake area metropolitan region. And it hosts various cultural events, concerts, festivals, and community gatherings throughout the year. Throughout its history, Pioneer Park has been influenced by diverse groups of people, from indigenous peoples to Mormon pioneers, to subsequent waves of Salt Lake City residents, including immigrants, unhoused communities, business owners, politicians, and more. The more you dig into the story of this park, the more you find out very interesting context about it and the place it has in today's Salt Lake City. The scope of Pioneer Park is quite ambitious. It's a really exciting change. Pioneer Park has been defined as a place of constant transformation since its inception, and we're also going to be commissioning the first artwork for the site. Pioneer Park, despite being our oldest park, it does not have a site-specific public artwork within it. There is some artworks around it, but not inside the boundaries of the park. So we're really excited about the possibilities of what could happen there. This commission is part of a larger effort in implementing new amenities for Pioneer Park, which include a new playground, a plaza, a pavilion, a ranger station. Salt Lake City has a park rangers program, a shade lawn, a mist fountain, and native plantings. The other interesting and noteworthy aspect of this redevelopment of Pioneer Park is the how the project in itself is pursuing a sustainable site certification, which is the sustainable equivalent to what we often see in buildings for being a green space and compliant with conservation measures. The existing trees are, some of them are as old as the park itself, dating back to pioneer days, are extremely important to the history and future of the park. So there is, if you are selected to develop a proposal, we'll be going further about this with you, but we will be asking you to prioritize where they're at and their placement within the park. Phase 1 design, so there's going to be at least 2 phases for the redevelopment of Pioneer Park. The current redevelopment of Pioneer Park, it's being called Phase 1. I go into, in the next few slides, I provide some renderings, and I can tell you specifically which areas of the park construction is going to be focusing on. Phase 1 design is currently underway through 2025, through 2024 and 2025. We expect construction to begin sometime next year. And other items in the vision plan for the larger effort to transform Pioneer Park will include an improved dog park, a new basketball court, pickleball courts, and more natural areas. These future renditions or future additions and changes to Pioneer Park are pending funding availability. The most important thing that I will recommend to you all as you consider applying for this is 2 sections, artist qualifications, but artwork goals. If selected as a finalist to develop a site-specific proposal, this is what we're going to be looking at in conjunction with the Salt Lake Art Design Board and project stakeholders to create a site-specific artwork for Pioneer Park that meets some or all of the following conceptual and aesthetic goals. We're looking for an artwork that enhances placemaking and contributes to defining the character of downtown Salt Lake City's primary green space. We're looking for an artwork that is inclusive, accessible, and welcoming for individuals of all abilities, incomes, age, genders, and cultural backgrounds. We're looking for an artwork that responds to the layered and unique history of Pioneer Park, offering a platform to explore and reveal diverse narratives that contribute to our collective understanding of the site. We're looking for an artwork that recognizes Pioneer Park's significance as a daily gathering place that fosters connections among individuals from the greater Salt Lake metropolitan area and the downtown urban core. We're looking for an artwork that considers and incorporates sustainable concepts and materials that will amplify Pioneer Park's goal to be a green space that responds to our current climate challenges. An artwork that is considerate of the future resources required to support elements within the proposed artwork. And if you are involving certain elements like electricity, for example, you help us provide a projection of the required resources to help support your proposal. And that meets all codes, safety, structural, and maintenance standards and complies with ADA, Salt Lake City requirements, and all other applicable laws, codes, and regulations. A little bit of the project scope. So what we are actually here to tell you about is the public art installation for Pioneer Park that will be selected through this request for qualification process will be the first one for Pioneer Park. It will set the stage for placemaking and characterization of the site. We're looking for a site-specific artwork. That's very, very important that we want to emphasize. Site-specific, and I go into some of the context and history below. We want something that's not only harmonizes with the park's unique current and planned amenities, but also invites visitors to see and engage with the site/park, multiple layer histories, and its immediate neighborhood. The selected artists will be required to collaborate with our team in order to integrate their design seamlessly into the park's landscape architecture and fulfilling the goals, artwork goals that I described in the previous slide. The project scope. This is interesting too, because while the park bears the name Pioneer in its name, we want to encourage an artist to help us think beyond this narrative of the pioneer here in Salt Lake City today. There are multiple diverse narratives that exist about the peoples that have used Pioneer Park or the site in one way or another. And we want to take this as a departing point for telling a new story about Pioneer Park and creating a site-specific word for the site. The artwork should illuminate these untold stories and enrich our contemporary understanding of Pioneer Park today. I have these are renderings of the preferred locations for Pioneer Park. I think this picture got messed up, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it over here. Here, we'll use this. Four areas within Pioneer Park have been identified as suitable locations for the artwork: near the proposed playground, in the vicinity of the northeast entrance of the park, could function as a gateway element, or on or within the footprint of a misting fountain. Artists will be welcome to propose new locations for the site. However, we want to work with you. So if you're in the proposal process and none of these areas we identified below make sense, or something that you would like to do, or you want to explore other areas, that's something that we welcome. So here are the four areas once again. This is going to be the footprint or the new playground infrastructure that's going to go. This number 2 is the restrooms, and then the ranger station I was mentioning before. The misting fountain will be this area, so or on or within the misting fountain. And the two gateway elements, so these are some of the entrances to the park, are over here and over here. For those that are familiar with Salt Lake City, this is 300 West, which is a major thoroughfare that goes north-south and crosses our entire city. And this is 300 South. 300 South is quite a rich and lively street within Salt Lake City, and it goes east-west on our city. So these are the four sections. You can consult more renderings about it in the RFQ for this project, which is our project page. All right, so some resources. As I was sharing with you earlier, Pioneer Park has a tremendous and rich history that we want you to be able to explore and untap through your research in developing a proposal for this artwork. Our RFQ includes several documents that are listed as resources. These are towards the end of the document, and I also link them here. And we want you to take those into strong consideration as a departing point for your research process if selected for commission. Two really interesting documents that we will ask you to review is the Pioneer Park Cultural Landscape Report. This was a Salt Lake City Commission document that offers a historical and cultural overview of the site and provides recommendations for proposed improvements. It goes into the history of it. It goes into the specifics of Pioneer Park and how we have the Pioneer Park we know today. And the second one is a resource produced by the state of Utah through the Utah Historical Society, which is their state division, and the Department of Cultural and Community Engagement. They do an illustrated history of Salt Lake City's old west side. Today, our contemporary understanding, if you're familiar with Salt Lake City, it's a city that's somewhat divided between east and west sides. Before this happened, the east and west side division is a consequence of redlining that occurred in the middle of the 20th century, a freeway, a railroad. However, Pioneer Park in its original, when Salt Lake City first became populated by Mormon settlers, it was the original west side of the city, and it has a very rich history. So you're able to visit this link, and it's pretty digestible information, super interesting, that offers more context about both Pioneer Park and the neighborhood around it and the communities that inhabit it. The other two documents are city documents that give you more of an understanding and background on the larger Pioneer Park redevelopment process. A few details about the commission. The commission award is $140,000 to be expected in to be paid in unanticipated 4 payments. There is one commission per artist or artist-led team. Your commission is inclusive of all of these things, which include your fee as an artist, supplies and materials, fabrication and labor, insurance, artwork transportation to and from Salt Lake City, including shipping, installation of the artwork on site, any expenses if you are not based here in Salt Lake City incurred by you, traveling in and out of the city, artwork engineering, and the permitting process. Because the permitting will be a part of the larger effort, we will work with you about if there are any specific permits that you will need to apply for, but these are mostly going to be related to shipping your artwork. For example, if you are creating an artwork that requires closing some streets in order for you to bring it here into Salt Lake City, that permit will be your responsibility. However, we anticipate because the artists will be integrated into the design plans and their artwork will be part of the final construction documents, we don't expect certain permits like for construction to be the responsibility of the artist. This is something, of course, that we'll discuss further if selected for the commission, excuse me. Two things that we ask you to consider as you develop, if selected for consideration, that we will be asking you to consider as part of your commission and your budget. I'm gonna have a drink of water. Our request that you set aside at least 10% of your budget towards a contingency for unexpected expenses. These are, the field of public art is full of unexpected things that sometimes require additional funding or funding that wasn't first considered. So we ask you to keep that as part of your budget in case this happen. And I will be able to tell you, as I was explaining before, that because you will be integrated into the design process and the artwork is expected to be part of the final construction documents, certain things like footings for sculptures will be included and could be absorbed by the city. I want to give an example. However, if you are proposing, let's say that you propose a monument to someone within Pioneer Park history, it's in bronze and it's placed on a plinth. The plinth itself, it's larger than a normal footing, so it won't be able to, that will be your responsibility. However, if it's a footing that could be integrated within the park and it's at ground level, smaller, those things could be integrated. So as we go, once again, if you're selected to develop a site-specific proposal for the site, we'll be able to convey more details and we'll be able to workshop that aspect with you. Insurance requirements, if you have received a commission from a municipal or government or state public art program, you will know that insurance is a big requirement. We will request general liability insurance, vehicle insurance, and workers' comp, either a proof of workers' comp or a waiver that's provided by the city prior for us to enter into an agreement. The artist qualifications, these, like I mentioned before with the artwork goals, artist qualifications are how you will be selected for to develop a site-specific proposal for the site. We will be looking at your professional experience representing a developed and successful body of site-specific public art projects of a similar scope and scale as demonstrated by visual documentation, your ability to meet deadlines and budget and to perform work in a timely, professional manner, your willingness to consult and work collaboratively with the Art Design Board, community stakeholders, ourselves, city partners, to successfully integrate your project onto the site, your ability to understand a sense of place and design in a context-sensitive manner as demonstrated by visual documentation, artist process your work and process reveals something unique about the world, communicates unique perspectives, inviting the viewer to question, discover, or explore new ideas. The storytelling is compelling and exploration feels relevant and deeply considered. And you have created works of permanent nature that do not require excessive maintenance or repair costs. The artist selection process. Our application will be open through Thursday, September 19th, and the Art Design Board will be meeting in early October to choose up to 3 finalists to create site-specific proposals for the commission. In early October, if you're selected, I'll be giving you a call and reaching out to you and requesting your participations in 2 meetings. If you're outside of Salt Lake City, these meetings can be virtual. But if you're in Salt Lake City, we could do so in person. And you meet with the projects team, and you will be able to ask questions from us, from public land staff, from the contracted landscape architecture consultant, design workshop, and other project and community stakeholders. During this meeting on Monday, October 14th, you will be receiving more information about the site, how we anticipate the proposal process to go, and you'll receive additional documents to help you. You will have approximately 3 months to develop these proposals. The second meeting that we request your presence in is the Our Design Board meeting, in which you will be presenting your site-specific proposals for discussion and potential recommendation to the mayor for commission. If you are selected as a finalist for this commission, you will receive a stipend of $2,250 that should be able to help you in your design development, research, meetings, presentations, and if you decide to do additional community engagement, that is, if your artwork is dependent or your process really incorporates community outreach beyond what has been done to the date, you could do so with this stipend. If you decide to travel to Salt Lake City to get to know and understand the site, or if you decide to come to Salt Lake City to present your proposal in person to the Art Design Board, that should also be cover your commission. And your proposal fee, honorarium, and it is independent of the $140,000 commission. So the artwork will still be $140,000 in addition to the $2,250 that we are able to provide you to develop these proposals. Artist agreements and project assumptions. These are a few things that if you're selected for commission, we want you to keep in mind, and selected as a finalist, I should say. If you're selected as a finalist, we will enter into an artwork proposal development letter of understanding. So this is something that you sign with it's not technically an agreement, but it's a document that we'll sign, in which we outline our expectations for you developing your site-specific proposal for this commission. If you are awarded the commission, you will enter into an artist commission work agreement. And like I explained before, you will be required to submit proof of your insurance prior to entering into that agreement. Some other things that we include in our contracts is that Salt Lake City, because the nature of public art, we don't intend to do so, but we reserve the right to relocate your artwork if something were to happen. If something were to, our contract agreements outline our relationship between us, the commissioning agency, and you, the artist. But we keep that in there in case of emergencies. Also, you will be expected to comply with all applicable Salt Lake City requirements, laws, codes, ordinances, and regulations. You will retain copyright of your artwork, but you are going to be granting Salt Lake City an unconditional license for non-commercial reproduction purposes. What does this mean is we're going to promote your artwork, so we're going to put it in social media. We may use it in educational materials about the work we do in the public art program. So this is, you allowing us to use its likeness and city materials like pamphlets, our website, etc. The other important aspect that we ask you to consider is that you will be required to submit engineering drawings by a Utah licensed engineer prior to you beginning, and these have to be accepted by our colleagues in Salt Lake City Engineering. You must do so prior to beginning fabrication of your artwork. Project schedule. You can consult the project schedule in the RFQ that's listed at in the PDF that we shared online. But remember, these are just important dates for you to remember. Deadline to apply is Thursday, September 19th by 11:59 p.m. We cannot accept late applications, and there are no exceptions to this rule. So please give yourself ample time to get familiar with both CAFE and what we're requesting in our request for qualifications. If selected as a finalist, we anticipate 3 finalists will be chosen. You will be notified in early October, and we require you to attend a virtual meeting on Monday, October 14th, where you will learn more about the project, and we hope to provide you then all relevant information you need to develop a site-specific artwork, but we're available if you're a finalist to answer any questions you may have during the artwork development process. You will be requested to submit your site-specific proposal by late December, or a little bit prior to the New Year, likely the week between Christmas and New Year. And we ask you to come back to the Art Design Board and present your artwork on Wednesday, January 8th. If approved and recommended for commission to the mayor, who has final approval in the commissioning process, we'll begin contract negotiations in the winter, so January, February. We'll put you right to work if you are under contract in order to integrate your artwork into the plant documents and the construction documents that we'll be creating. Park construction and artwork fabrication and installation will take place next year, summer, fall 2025, through spring, summer of 2026, which is when we anticipate to do a celebration of the artwork and the revamped park. Excuse me. So now we go into how to apply for the Pioneer Park Commission. We ask you to please apply through CAFE. Here's the site. We're going to be posting the slides on our website and the project page. We accept no other method other than CAFE. Sometimes in the very last days, even hours of an application, we get phone calls requesting if we can make an exception, do something through accept qualifications through CAFE. There are no exceptions. If you have any sort of form of access limitation, please let us know prior and we can discuss it. But 9.5 times out of 10, the only way in which you could apply and solicit is through the CAFE website. We do so because we want to ensure there is equity in the process. We need to treat all applicants the same way. Like I said before, I want to remind you to give yourself ample time for you to become familiar with the CAFE website. Give yourself 48 hours, 2 days, if you need to upload images, if you need to fill out the metadata, which is the associated information with the images you submit, etc. Please upload everything where it tells you in CAFE in the website, and do not submit a proposal at this time. Any materials not specifically requested as part of this application or exceeding the page length or format documents will not be considered or reviewed by the Art Design Board and may result in your disqualification. We do not provide notices of disqualification, so we ask you to please keep a close eye on what's being requested in the CAFE website, what's being requested on our RFQ page, and you proceed accordingly. Submission requirements. You can apply individually or, as I explained, as a team, and you need to apply by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, September 19th. We ask you that the artist being considered must have full name and contact information on submitted materials. A couple of things that I've been noticing, particularly as of late, when people submit things on CAFE. If you are a studio, this is a typo. If you're a studio or a gallery submitting qualifications on behalf of an artist, let's say we have Amy and I are public artists. It's a hypothetical because obviously we cannot participate. But Amy and I are an artist, and our art studio is called the Public Art Studio. And we submit qualifications on behalf of Public Art Studio. All of that information needs to be reflected correctly, on the CAFE materials that you submit. So make sure that if your name is different from who you're applying, make sure that what's being considered and reviewed has the correct name and information. Sometimes the submitter name is different than the artist being considered. So we ask you to make it easy for us to review it, but also we ask you to convey information clearly and effectively on who you want the information to be perceived as. it could be confusing. So we ask you to keep a close eye on those things. If you're applying as a team, we ask you to indicate the name and contact information of who will be the team's representative. And remember, one person, one application. So if you're already submitting an application as an artist, individual artist, you may not be considered as part of the team. So keep that in mind. We've noticed a couple of things that are technically incomplete applications. So I ask you to please keep a close look at if you are submitting your qualifications as part of a team. We require that each team member has an up to 2-page resume attached as part of your application. Make sure that's included. And if you don't include this, or if you fail to include information about your team members, it could actually hurt you in the end. Why? Because we do not have the art design board and project stakeholders and ourselves, we do not have a full understanding of who the team that's being proposed is. So you could be partnering, let's say that you submit something and you submit qualifications for a very well-known artist that will be incredible to will make something great for the site. If the resume is not attached to the rest of the resume, we do not have a full understanding of how they will be working as a team. So if you're proposing a team, make sure that each team member has a CV or a resume as part of their application. The other thing is, please, if you're submitting as part of a studio, or you have a public art studio where there's multiple public art professionals working together, make sure that your application, you submit one application per studio. I've seen applications from studios and individual artists proposing to work as their studio. That technically, we have to disqualify you because of the you're submitting more than one application per team. So please take a close look at that. And if you're applying as part of a artist studio, talk with your colleagues and decide who will be submitting the application on behalf of your studio or your team. This is very important. Application materials. We ask for 3 things: a letter of interest, up to 500 words or a page. We do not ask you to submit a proposal for our work at this time. We ask you to please do so. Don't do it. We don't want you working for free. And that will be part, if you're selected as a finalist, that will be part of your team. I've received questions from artists in the past that they want to submit something because that's their idea. We ask you to keep that to the letter of recommendation. How would you approach the site? What do you think you're the best artist or team for this particular commission? Express that through the letter of interest that you're submitting. Keep the narrative relevant and aim at connecting with the artwork's goals and the project scope and how that connects to your previous body of work. Make sure you include contact information in all of your submission documents, resume and CV. 2 pages max, please. If you're applying as part of a team, you must submit 1 resume per artist or collaborator that's part of that team. Same thing, 2 pages max for each resume. Keep it current, brief, and relevant. Try to avoid fancy fonts, colors, pictures, and please include 2 references in your resume. We do not contact references unless you're selected as a finalist and we give you a notice before we're going to submit references. Images of work. This is the primary way in which your artwork will be discussed and judged. So make sure you have good quality, straightforward images of the artwork itself, minimum of 5, maximum of 10. We ask you to fill out the metadata accordingly: title of the piece, date, medium, dimensions, location, budget, and brief description of the artwork. Do not submit multiple images of different works in one image, one artwork. And we welcome previous proposals that perhaps are going through a fabrication process and were commissioned, or previous proposals that were not selected. We welcome those, but these cannot be encompass more than 3 of the 10 images being proposed. Images are the primary way in which your artwork is judged, so please submit good samples and good quality images for that. Assistance. If you need assistance applying, if it relates to the technical website, how it is, a page not loading, etc., we ask you to please reach out to Cafe's team directly during business hours. We put some information here. We call them, like even for this call for artists, we run into a technical problem. We always call them. They're very kind, professional, and then they should be able to help you right away. If you have any questions about the artwork itself, the request for qualifications, what we're looking for, that's where we come into play, and we're more than happy to help. We ask you to please only contact us and none of the art design board members or project stakeholders. The only people that you're allowed to inquire about this project is public art program staff. Here's our website, please, and our website and our contact info for you to have. If you do not have access to Wi-Fi or a computer to apply, we welcome you to visit the branches of the Salt Lake City Public Library, which they offer free computer and Wi-Fi access. If you require further resources or accommodations to complete the application materials, such as translation into other documents or assistance in a language that's other than English, please email us and we'll be able to provide assistance. I'm a native Spanish speaker, so I could also help you in Spanish if that's the language you need help with. Questions, same thing. Please, I keep my contact information here. Please contact us if you we can respond everything. We do our best to respond quickly. However, if a project receives a high number of inquiries really close to the deadline, we cannot assure you that you'll receive a response. So our best advice to you right now is to give yourself ample time as you apply. And here is our contact information. Once again, we're gonna be uploading our the slides for this presentation. We'll be uploading them to our website, and our contact information is here. And with that, I'm gonna stop sharing and answer any questions that we may have received. Oh, I think you're
Sorry, I was muted. We've received 2 questions so far. The first question is, would the contracted artists have access to all the improvement plans for Pioneer Park? They don't need full details, but they just want to know the gist.
Yeah. So like I said before, at the beginning of this, if you're selected as an artist, you will be part of the parks design team. So you will be integrated into all of those conversations where they're up to that point, and we'll give you all information and context you need in order for you to understand and properly contextualize your artwork as part of Pioneer Park.
And then the second question is, for image sample submissions, could an applicant submit technical drawings even though they are not yet installed on the planned site?
That's an interesting question. Technical drawings could be hard to interpret if these are if they're like engineering documents. What I recommend you is if you have a proposal in which you develop renderings, for example, I'll share my screen again. This is a rendering of the proposed park. And then I think we had another one over, I think this one, like of what the site could be of the plan side. Yes, we welcome those. We leave it up to your best judgment. Remember, this is how your artwork is going to be judged. But we also need to assess whether you're qualified to be part of this commission. So think about it. If someone's not an architect, an engineer, they're part of the team, will they be able to understand what your artwork proposal or what the renderings that you are submitting are? If you think the answer is yes, someone without any understanding of planning, landscape architecture, etc., if they can understand it, then it will probably be a good rendering for you to submit. If they require more technical knowledge, we recommend you that you do something different.
Are there any last questions? And I just want to say that we'll also be putting the question and answers on the website as well. All the questions we receive through emails will also be updated to that Q&A sheet online.
All right. Well, I'll hang on for a few more minutes and then I'll stop recording.